Yeah. Let's get ready for the sweet, sweet sound of Let It Fly. No, really, let's just bitch about some shit. Hello, everyone. The notepad is full this week. It is nice to be able to make my video appropriately, not in a hurry, and not to have to apologize to you guys, because I told you on last week's show it was going to be on Saturday, so we're just calling it Let It Fly for now. 3 July 2021. Wow. It was a good week for my commenters. So we're going to follow up with some of the news from last week, because the two vehicles I mentioned, one of them nobody has, but the second one, the Axial Bronco, has gotten to a few hands. Two of my favorites, RC Driver, Scale Builders Guild, Matt and Greg. So I'm going to tell you, now that the Red Cat Woodsman's coming out, it's big, 1/8 scale. But according to both reviews of the Axial Bronco, it is on the same chassis as the Gladiator. You can switch the bodies, so it's big. And I was watching Matt and I was giggling because, he's 6'1" just like me. We're probably about close to the same size, but his hands were just tiny when he was touching it, moving it around. So I may have to get a friend for the Marksman when I get it. But meanwhile, same electronics. I was hoping to hear something new. I don't know if they get spec sheets when they get their free trucks to review, but the panhard mount is now metal, one of the problems that the truck had. The possible servo, they didn't mention anything about the electronics, still has the Firma 40 in it, which, even though I got the Fusion, what the heck was that called? Yeah, the Quick Run Fusion from Hobby Wing, that's got the built-in ESC. I got a new receiver for this. I haven't swapped it over yet because after my little smoking incident with the on the crawler course during the challenge, the Versus challenge, I haven't had any problems with the motor. So it's been running strong, running good. So I haven't switched it yet, so I've kept that on the back burner. So that's still a good system. And the thing that gets me, this truck now weighs almost twice what it weighed when it was an RTR. Everybody complains about the steering servos. Oh, the RTR steering servo. So that thing is pulling itself up rocks, climbing, crawling, cranking that front end around just fine with all that extra weight on it and the heavier, bigger tires on it. Don't know. Second, the Red Cat Marksman. Now, I have the Gen 8 and I have the Wendigo. Now, I'm going to tell you, the new TC8 chassis is based on the Wendigo chassis, but that truck to me looks, when you look at the chassis, it's just kind of thrown on there. The side panels are weird. They're like stepped, and it's very technical to get everything mounted in there. And in that, it's just bare bones. But to me, that new TCH, which RC Review had a nice review. He was just going on the pictures that he had. But it looks more of a combination that looks like they use like the Gen 8 frame rails or the chassis plates for it. So it's more organized, more room to put electronics and whatnot. It's got some nice, it looks like it's got some nice skids on the side that might hold the body in place better. The Wendigo doesn't have, it's just got some sliders on it, just really basic, kind of cheap looking sliders. But I'm beating the crap out of that truck, and it is doing fine. So getting a 1/8 scale with a real Jeep body on it, more on that in a minute. But those are my two observations on the new trucks. Enough that the Axial, I might think about it. It's pretty friggin' pricey still, and something I didn't like on the Gladiator was the droop of the shocks, but it keeps the center of gravity lower. The new one looks like it's got some different kinds, there are bigger shocks on it. It sits up really high. The Gladiator SCX 3, pardon me. It is very hard to tip that truck, especially once I widened, the wheels, which there you go. That's another thing that people say is bad on the steering servos. Just a thought. But don't worry. Well, no, you may have to worry. We'll get into new people in a little while, but my new coworker likes drones. So I have a few drones. This is a Dromeda, I think that's how you pronounce it, which this is a $120 drone. It has a camera. You can take pictures, you can take videos. A durable little sucker. But I can fly this. Now, the other drone that I sold to my new coworker was the cheapest DJI that you can buy. It was like $150. I got it at a Christmas party. Don't tell him, because I sold it to him still for a lot cheaper than it cost. But this little drone I can fly. I have been dipping my toe into drones for years. The first one was a Hobby People one that my wife got me so I could take it up to our cabin, and every time I did work, I could fly it up in the air, use the camera on it, and take pictures. This was an old one. Takes the pictures, you have to come back and, we have a little plug on it, download it to your computer. Well, this thing is garbage. And it was a really cheap drone. Nobody that I've given this to can fly this thing. It's just garbage. Along with one of my old coworkers needed some money. So I bought this $50 drone for $20. He hadn't even flown it. Everything starts up, good looking little thing. Everything starts up, works perfect, will not fly. It just does this and does that, and there's basically zero adjustments on the controller to adjust this. This thing comes with a beautiful looking controller that doesn't have really much in the way of adjustments. So this thing, I put a battery in it, sat it down, gave it a little throttle, it flew straight up in the air, over my house, went out somewhere in the front yard and crashed, and took me a whole season to find it. So, with the 4 drones so far that I've had, $100 or more is where to go. Now, of course, this one was made, and you had to download an app for it to use the camera and everything on it. Of course, they dropped that app. They don't carry it anymore. So now it's just a fun little drone that I can actually fly. But I need to get a new battery for it because the battery I've got just doesn't. I want to play with it more now. So spend $100 or more on a drone and you should be okay. Otherwise, you're going to have this sitting around. Which, my new drone buddy, I might give those to him. Let him make something. Now, moving on to more ranting. Oh, thirsty. The new Red Cat. There are some people I have found on my channel who, wow, don't like Jeeps. Especially Wranglers. I mean, I love Wranglers. I don't know what the problem is with some of you people. Come on, man. Wrangler. The Red Cat Marksman is designed after the Jeepster Commando, which was made by Kaiser and then AMC. It was built started in the 60s. They went all the way through to the 70s. AMC is the last of the real Jeeps, in my opinion, because to me, the Jeep is associated with the military. The CJ was the last Jeep that was used by our military. Our military was still using them in certain places. And, you know, that was the pedigree. That is why, do I have that? I've got that sticker on the wall, don't I? Wait, where did my sticker go? Uh-oh. Because I'm destined to find one in real life. The 1985 last Jeeps had a sticker on the dash that it had the picture of the original Jeep on it. It said, "The last of the great breed. This collector's edition CJ ends an era that began with the legendary Jeep of World War II," which, to me, and to a lot of military people, and a lot of people who like military equipment, that's why no one likes the Wrangler. The Wrangler has no pedigree with the military. The only thing that it shares with the original CJ is that it still runs straight axles. And that is basically the only reason that a Jeep, if you can keep it running long enough to get out to the woods, is still off-road capable, because it's straight axle. Boom, crawler people, what are we building all the time? So, the only people who have ever used any version of a Wrangler in a military application is the Israeli military. And all they basically did was get a license from Dodge, Renault, Chrysler, Mercedes-Benz, Fiat, you know, whoever else has owned Dodge. They just got the license to make it, and they just completely built a whole nother vehicle that resembles a Wrangler. So there it is in a nutshell. And if you do own a Jeep and you've managed to, I don't know how, still stuck with me on my channel, I appreciate it. But when you're driving along in your Jeep and the Jeep people think they have to wave at everybody now, that's not what a Jeep wave was. It was a V for victory, because when you saw one, you automatically assumed that that was a veteran from one of the wars driving his Jeep. So it was a V. It wasn't a wave. It was a V. So if you're in your Jeep, test out some of the other Jeep people. See if they even know what the hell's going on. And now, with the Jeep and the Red Cat, the haters are abound. I don't get it. I just don't get it. This is going to be a twofold. I might combine these two into one. You haven't driven one. You don't know anything about it. Why, in the name of God, is every big name except for Francis RC Review? Thank you, Francis, because I seem to have the only channel on the YouTube that doesn't rag on Red Cat, is excited about things that Red Cat has coming out, And all my viewers completely agree with me. And that is where the haters bit is getting me. These big names do not realize that there are people that base all their opinions on what those big names say. So if the big names say something's a piece of junk, they're saying it's a piece of junk. They're sheep. Bottom line, I have not seen any sheep on my channel. And I am so glad for that. We have good discussions. We have preferences for certain things, but it's not, yours is a piece of crap, this is the best thing in the friggin' world, and shut your mouth if you don't agree with me. It's crazy. So, Red Cat has taken elements from two platforms and made one. And they've put a body on it that, except for what the hell? J Concepts, I don't know why I always want to put an S in there. J Concepts have come out with like their Crete bodies and stuff. So they've done some reproductions of some Jeeps, Kaiser Jeeps, Willys Jeeps. I've loved them. I'm still thinking about getting some, but they're so dedicated to crawling with the molded in, pinch in the rears, and, I just, But putting something new out there, oh God, it's a Jeep. Oh, but it's obviously not a licensed Jeep. Well, those of us who like old Jeeps, like I've had a 51, a 78, now a 77. It is something different. It's not a freaking Wrangler like every Axial, except for every fifth vehicle they make, is something not a Wrangler. Injora making all of their Wrangler bodies. At least they got a Cherokee body to throw it up, mix it up a little bit. Oh, just like Axial did. But people, I just don't get it. And the new people coming into the market that aren't researching very hard, are just going in and catching a video or two, they're the same way. So my new friend, I want to get him into RC. So I was going to have him, we're going to go out and do some things and try some different rigs out. I've got some fast ones. So what do I say? Hey, I've got a Slash I can take out. VXL Slash. Slashes are fun as shit. I don't care if it's the 2-wheel drive, the 4-wheel drive, they are fun. 7.2, 8.4, throw in a lipo. Boom, you've got the option. Work your way up. Just fun. And there's still, like nowadays, the Slash is pretty cheap compared to some of the stuff that's coming out. But somehow a lot of people used to like the Slash, but now a lot of the big names, because Arma's out with all these bashers. Oh yeah, I'd use a Slash if I had to, but I want to Arma this or Arma that and bash, bing, bang, boom. So you've got a brand new guy who can afford a Slash, but you're telling him to go out and buy a $700 truck because you like it better than the other one. Meanwhile, he just wants to start an RC. If you're new, you've never done it before, boom, MST, $300, you're in the door, ready to run. All you got to do is buy a battery and a charger, which, depending on what you buy, your total investment's going to be just what the truck would have cost you if you went with name brands all the time. Charisma. We could buy a Charisma, even cheaper. You have no expectations. You think it looks fun. You get out there and start taking this truck, any of these trucks. Red Cat. Peter T was on my channel. He liked what I had to say about the Red Cat. He went out and got one. He loves it. Inexpensive. Does what you need it to do. Excellent RC car. Oh, God, it's a friggin' Red Cat. It was pretty strange, though, once they started throwing some name brands into the Red Cat. All of a sudden, a lot of people were talking big about the Red Cat, but they stopped at the Axe Edition when they started complaining about it breaking all the time, and then went after the V1. First, it was great, and then, oh, it's breaking all the time. I don't know, other than wear and tear from a long period of use. You know, what do you do with your trucks? How do you break your truck the first time you took it out? Oh, I don't know. You listen to the guy that said you need to run it on 6S right now, and you have never done anything but drove a nickel metal car, and you ran into the house. That's how you break a brand new car, first run out. You're new, start with nickel metals. You buy some cheap batteries, a cheap charger, an inexpensive truck. You go out and you drive that truck. I'm gonna guarantee that if you've never done it before and you've only watched other people, you're gonna do it. You aren't gonna know if the tires aren't getting a proper grip, or if the suspension geometry is not at 40% over 80%, or that, your center of gravity is 40% to the rear over the 60% to the front. Now your truck's going to tip over. You don't know that stuff. You have to learn it. And the excuses I'm hearing are, well, yeah, if they buy a cheap truck, it's going to ruin their experience. What experience? Take a Radio Shack car, if they even have Radio Shacks anymore, or a Walmart friggin' car. Take that out there and see if that was going to have no expectations at all. You take a hobby grade, cheap truck and put it in the hands of anyone who's never done it, they are going to have fun. So we need to stop comparing, oh, that's just a knockoff of this, and that's a knockoff of that, and it's a big piece of junk. Hate to tell you, people, if you've spent $1,000 on a Vanquish truck, it's an SCX-10 too. They just made some metal axles that house axial gears and a transmission that looks different, that houses axial transmission gears, and jack the price up. So, tired of this is a knockoff of that, and that's a knockoff of that, and that's a big piece of junk, and you don't want to get that, and you're going to spend your money. How about spending $500 on something that a piece breaks right off the bat, and they've sold every one of them that it breaks on, and you can't get your part because now the company released something too fast, parts are breaking, don't release a metal version to help you out, so now you've spent over $500 for something you're not going to be able to drive. Just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Ranting on about because this is what started this in my head. And I had to go back and watch. I fricked my chair. So I've got 3 people at work. One of them has a cheap RC car. He just doesn't spend a lot of time with it. And then my drone buddy wants to get into the cars. So he's just went and peeked around YouTube a little bit. And, I'm throwing things out to him and he doesn't know anything about the vehicles, but he knows the name. And, oh, isn't that a piece of junk? I'm like, where did you hear that from? YouTube. Have you ever looked at one? Well, no, but I watched this video and I was like, who'd you watch? And he was like, I don't know. So research it a little more. Same thing with a mother of a child heard us talking about RC and she brought that up. She goes, so you do an RC channel? I said, yes. And she goes, oh, my son watches those all the time. But he wants to get this $800 truck. I wonder which truck that is because he watches this guy and that's all he talks about is this $800 truck, but he can't afford it. So he's saving his money. And I said, do you realize he can go You can go over to A Main Hobby right now. You can find a $300 truck that'll get you in the door. So a lot of them with combos, charger and a battery, for like, less than $400. And she's like, what? Well, yeah. Tell them to start watching more than just one video for the person who has a connection to a company that sells the most expensive car on the market. Because I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure I know who she's talking about. So this name brand dropping all over YouTube because you're sponsored by them or you have connections by them are literally keeping some people out of the hobby. Because they're not, it's not just the tuber's fault. It's the viewer too that, don't be a sheep. Go out and peruse. Go out and look at the different things. Now, hey, what's his name on A Main? Brett. Yeah, he's making videos for products for his company. So yeah, they're going to all be great. But that's not where you don't want to look at a company that's selling products and watch their videos. You want to go out and peruse, that's what the search thing is on the Google machine. You get in that YouTube, search, watch a bunch of different videos. Because I'll tell you, you want to watch some big names. I have seen quite a few inexpensive trucks on RC Sparks, and I don't generally hear Aaron freaking out on this is a big cheap piece of junk. Yeah, he's got some access to some nice rigs, but he does the cheap ones too. And when he buys a cheap one, he's not, I just wanted to see what a big piece of crap this was so I can make jokes about it later. No. He enjoys it. He finds a place for it later. If he doesn't keep it, moves it on. Boom. Go to bigger names on the tube that are not endorsing products. Learn from yourself. Start off with the cheap stuff. Work your way up. You'll gain your experience, and you're not going to be stuck with, say, an $800 to $1,000 truck that something breaks on it and you're brand new and you don't know how to work on it. You don't know how to fix it. That's an expensive paperweight sitting on the shelf. So boom, people, there it is. Now that I've talked to you guys, I feel so much better. But another great week for commenters. What did we cover this week? We covered Jeep Talk, and we covered Red Cat, and the Axials, and what were some other ones on there? Oh, as usual, the HGs. I got to do some more with the HGs because a lot of you guys are digging the HGs. And I've got to get more videos out. I promised videos, and it's been a hell of a week for me. I'm doing all kinds of cool shit that I just haven't done in a long time, and it's fun. But this week's shout-outs. Mark Hinkle, Joshua Reese, Peter T, thanks again for the thanks about the Gen 8. And like I said, I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy with it. Yet another RC channel. North Wisconsin. I got a whole state, part of a state, commenting. I love it. It's pretty cool. Carlos Davila and the U.S. Army said that they're interested in a Gen 8 too. I don't know. It's no joke. You can check out the comment section. The U.S. Army left me a comment. So there you go, everyone. I am going to, let me see. Oh, my battery for my drone's not charged yet. Ooh, but the piece of crap one. I want to go see if I can kill this. Maybe I'll make a video. Who knows? But until the next video, once again, thanks to all of you. The numbers have gone up again on the channel. As usual, I'm glad you're here. I am not looking for any kind of notoriety. But I'm just glad that you guys are here. And more of you, let's keep commenting. And I must be popular, getting more popular because I have the 3 dedicated dislikers now. And I'm going to address you guys too. Dislike away. But let's man up a little bit and tell me in the comments why you disliked it. You know, I want to make it enjoyable for everybody. So I could use your input. Let me know what you didn't like about it. Until the next one, everyone. Bye-bye. Are you sleeping? Where's the director at? What kind of operation is this running?